Hey YouTube! So I know I'm a week late for Halloween, but I decided to make a video on how I made my husband's spirit Halloween costume for this year. Stay tuned if you want to know or just want to watch someone work on a costume. So to start, throughout October and even September, I was collecting just random supplies. A lot of this stuff I had from home. This mask you see here and that cloak are from Dollarama. I believe they were $3.50 or $4 each. These frames I had at home, I had a bunch of these lights. I bought those ice cube thingies, and I had a bunch of CD cases and felt. I also used up some cardboard and some random plastic bins, and I also had my supplies like a glue gun, tape, scissors, the usual pen, X-Acto knife. I also have these miniature jars that I've had for a while, and I've also got my plenty of paints and this one Bristol board that my mother-in-law. So to start my project, I cut off the flaps of this box and glued it to a base a bit bigger than the rest because I had kind of a rough idea of what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do the storefront, so I needed to leave space. And right here I'm just cutting up those Dollarama ice cube thingies and draining them of their water. This one is a skeleton, as you can see, and I'm going to use them to make kind of like a display that you'd see at the store. I did the same with the pumpkin shape and put up a finger light inside. These finger lights are amazing. I think I stole them from my nephew actually. And to accentuate the pumpkin, I'm just coloring the eyes in with black paint. Nothing too fancy. I'm just painting the interior now with black paint. And I'm also going to paint these bat lights orange because I didn't like how bright the white light was, and surprisingly it worked and stuck on pretty well. And I just cut a slit on the top to slide them in to look like lights. Now no Spirit Halloween isn't this fancy, but I thought it would look cute. Now I'm just cutting off strips of orange to line the side. Now surprisingly, I did a lot of research on YouTube on what a Spirit Halloween store looks like because I've only been to one this year and I didn't spend a lot of time in it. As you'll see, I put in lights everywhere else just to make it glow. And now I'm just measuring the poster board or the foam board, and this will be the storefront. Here you'll see I'm just referencing the Spirit Halloween storefront, and majority of them are just old Sears or Zeller stores. So I'm taking CDs here now that I got from work and just making them the windows. Also, you want to make sure to cut the middle of this, make sure everything's in line and measured. I did a rough measurement. If you want to make this and make it prettier, then obviously do it a better job than I did. Now I'm just cutting that section out so I could glue gun the glass in place. Just be careful here and don't burn yourself. I'm also painting these Home Depot stir sticks. I could put it kind of as a border. And now I am just cutting out the printouts that I did for the Spirit Halloween sign. And I just Googled this and made sure that the picture was big, just so the quality was good. And I had to print it on 2 separate pieces of paper. So I'm just gluing that on and then gluing that onto the top of the store. And as you can see, it's coming along pretty well. Make sure to split it in the middle. And I also have a bunch of these signs that I cut out. Most of them I did not use, but a lot of the posters that are printed out I used, as well as the open sign. And it gave it a nice, real looking touch. Now here I'm just using some silver washi tape. I cut it down to a really skinny piece, just as like an outline. I didn't really need to do this, but it made it pop at the end, so I'm glad I did. I also used the same washi tape to outline the doors. For the floor, I'm just using a contact sheet of paper that looks like wood tiling from Dollarama. And it works out because I always need shelving paper, so this was perfect. I used it in my cabinets later. You can see this really looks real. I mean, if you're going to do this for a dollhouse or something, this would be perfect. So here are just a bunch of pictures that I printed out of Spirit Halloween store decor and shelving units. And this is the cheating way. If you want to be way more creative, you could probably just maybe take your own photos. I also printed out some creepy photos and put them on those ceramic frames that I had lying around. And I even managed to make a tiny little sign that said, I think it says, actually I don't even know what it says. It's too far away for me to read post-production. So I printed out these costumes and put them on felt and then covered them in tape to make it look like there's actually clothing in there. And to add a little razzle dazzle, I just printed off a stop sign, glued that onto a stick, and painted that silver. I just thought it needed something more on the outside. And then put together, it looks really good. I decided to cut the outside area just so it'd be easier for me to open and close the door. So you'll see I'm just gluing that to the base of the storefront and then cutting it in the middle so it can open easily like a door. Here I'm just cutting out little yellow lines for the steps and just gluing everything on. I also had a lot of this fake, or actually I think it's real moss from Dollar Store. I've used it in many other projects before, and I'm just gluing that to the side to make it look more real. Now, to make sure it does open, I had this piping lying around. It's just a plastic pipe that I cut into thirds. Two I put on the sides of the actual diagram or the box, and one I put on the flap, and then you'll see I put a skewer down right in the middle just to make kind of like a hinge. And this worked out pretty well. I know my husband said that it fell out a couple of times, but nothing little tape can't fix. And over here I put a piece of skewer at the bottom and stuck it inside the corrugated card floor just so it doesn't open all the time. And as you can see, it opens beautifully, locks in beautifully. Now all we need to do is work on the interior. Now this part, just to make the shelves, I put orange cardboard on the leftover foam board, printed out princess costumes, put those on. I did the same for the Marvel display. And here you can see this whole montage of me just placing things and redecorating. This part was actually the most fun because it was just neat to kind of bring back my retail days and kind of design the storefront of a place. I paid homage to a lot of the classics like Hocus Pocus, Stranger Things. And you'll see at the side there, I just added Flying Guy, I believe they're called. And for that, I just cut out the shape of a man and put a face on it out of tissue paper, the wrapping tissue paper, and just put it on top of a fan. And it actually looked really cute. And now here's the finished product. Now this really was kind of fun to play with. Even if you're done with it, you got nieces or nephews or your own kids maybe, they'd be more than happy to play with this. A detail I forgot to add was that at the end, I did tape on ribbon so that my husband could wear it over his head. And to be the mascot itself, he just put on the skeleton mask from Dollarama and had the cape over his shoulders and then wore some gloves to make it look real. I'd love to see if you did make something like this, or if you do decide to go as a Spirit Halloween costume or mascot for next year. If you end up doing it, tag me on Charmingly Sunny on Instagram and I'll be sure to take a look. Alright guys, until next DIY, I'll see you later.